Welcome to Act 3. Super glad that you joined us today. On today's episode, we're going to talk about some hobbies. We're going to talk about some really cool arty kind of things that are happening in community. And we're also going to talk a little bit about hospice. So welcome to the show. Make sure you go grab yourself a beverage. We'll see you in just a moment.
I'm sitting on the edge of love and happiness. Never experienced such a moment as this. So if you got that good feeling in your body and you want to bring this moment to life, come with me, we'll hit the town. Let's go right now and live the life. I just want to shine like the sky up like a sunset, living with no regrets. I just want to shine.
Oh, Paige, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's been happening at hospice?
So Nanaimo Hospice, it's a new year for us. It's super exciting. We have a lot going on, lots of programs and services, expansion, growth. We're experiencing a huge increase in demand for our programs and services right now.
Yeah, I would imagine with COVID and there's so many changes that are going on in the world right now that, you know, grieving is more than just people passing over, right? Grieving is to do with job loss and changes. How have you seen that here at hospice?
We've seen it in all capacities, you know, from even just isolation from your social life through COVID, grieving that, the grief process has completely changed. You know, during the pandemic, what funeral arrangements look like, what caretaking looked like, saying goodbye to those that are in, you know, critical care or palliative care units that you couldn't access. So it's definitely changed. It's been difficult for those, you know, experiencing that, but we're, you know, hearing all the feedback and we're hearing our clients and we're moving forward and kind of trying to respond. So
I love how you do a call to action. I really, really do. And I know that there's a huge call to action right now because you're doing like the biggest fundraiser. Why don't you tell everyone about that?
It is our biggest fundraiser to date. We are so excited to share that we are doing our Dream Home Lottery. It is this beautiful 3,000 square foot home in the Lanceville foothills. You know, four bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, dunk pool, the whole kit and caboodle. All the proceeds are going directly to our programs and services and, you know, eventually build that little foundation for us to build that residential facility, standalone hospice facility, so we can have some beds, yes.
Yeah, and having a standalone facility makes a lot of sense when you're working with families that are having a lot of difficulty as they're watching their family member go over to the other side. But fundraisers are, you know, fundraisers come and go, but a house, I gotta tell you, a lot of us could really use a new house. I'm one of them. How do people get tickets? How do people get information? How much are they? Give us the details.
I can do that. So if you want to buy a ticket, go to our website, nanaimohospice.com. You can also learn about the programs and services it is supporting. Tickets are $100 a single ticket. We're also running a 50-50 in conjunction. I think the pot's over $200,000. So
oh my God.
Winner takes half, $25 a ticket. There are some ticket packages and yeah, all proceeds go to Nanaimo Hospice and the programs.
I'm just so excited. I love 50-50 draws. Now, don't get me wrong, I could use a new house. I think most people can, and at $100, really, you can't buy a house for that.
No.
Especially in the Lanceville foothills. I mean, that place is just extraordinary, right?
Exactly. We're making a joke of $100 to get into the housing market right now and for a good cause. So it is a win-win.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the way that the prices have gone up, it'll be an investment that you will be glad that you took. So across the bottom of the screen, you're going to find out how you can get those tickets. Thanks, Paige. It's been great to see you again. I look forward to talking with you again next time. Enjoy the next part of the program. I don't know about you, but I absolutely love great art. And our very own Dan Elliott on Raven Tales is going to share what's happened with his artistic world in the last little while. You're not going to want to miss it. Hey, how are you? It's been a while since I've seen you, my friend. How's it going?
Oh my gosh, I know. It's been crazy, but good.
I know. It's always crazy but good when it comes to you. Yeah. And so I hear a little whisper in the wind called the winds of change.
Yes.
Had the great fortune of being there with our cameraman Doug to take a bit of footage. But I think our community really needs to know what that was all about, because it was pretty fantastic.
I know, it was surreal. I was just kind of floating on the clouds.
So, I mean, you were floating on the clouds, but why? Why? I mean, let's look at what you're doing, dude.
Yeah, well, you know, I've been a hidden artist by design. And it was a coming out party for me.
Yeah.
And I did some work with with the school district and the prison, and I've been struggling always to express myself around First Nation issues and things happening and how can we work in there. And I was like, I don't have the language, I don't have the written capacity that I really want to have. And I went, well, I'm a painter, I'm an artist.
Right.
So I painted a 2.5-year project called Winds of Change.
Now, in our early program, when we first, Act3, first came back to show, we first started reaching out to community, we shared some of those pieces.
Yes, we
But
did.
that was part of a collection. And so how many pieces were in the collection? Who got involved in it, and where are we going next?
Well, I did 13, and then I decided I needed to do one more, so I did 14 pieces. Some of them are big.
Yeah.
They're like 4 by 6 foot
They're like
watercolors.
They're walls. They're walls is what they are.
They're walls. And so I was actually trying to paint what was beautiful about our Indigenous culture.
Yeah.
What was the interruption?
Yeah.
And we know what that is. I mean, that's all over the pages.
It's all over the pages,
news
residential schools, all of that really nasty stuff.
And then the other part is, because I'm always about what's right with the picture.
Yeah.
You know, how do we make the, so it's about, yes, reconciliation, but it's actually about conciliation, which is the last part of it, and that's about how we come together.
Yes.
So there's so I go through the valley and I come out and people have a very hopeful outlook with this body of work.
Well, it was more than a hopeful thing. I mean, you were getting 100 people a day at the university taking a peek at the work that you've done. And now we're moving it forward. Steps are going in the right direction so that this becomes an even larger legacy project. Yeah. What's in the plan now? I think I heard that there's a little birdie telling me that a little funding might have come your way to maybe do something groovy. And what does that look like?
Well, I applied for, there's one of 30 grants available. Yeah. And I was thinking, okay, I'm not really a big movie guy or documentary guy. I am through Shaw.
We're famous on Act3. What do you mean, famous?
We are. Okay, I'll take that. And lo and behold, my friend and I got this grant to paint or to videotape and make a documentary.
Wonderful.
Like 30 or 40 minutes. That's our timeline. So it's kind of a timeline of how I got to paint Winds of Change. So it's called Truth, Art, and Reconciliation. That's the title. Pretty stoked about it.
I feel like dancing, dancing. And since we've got a little bit of tunage, perhaps, why don't you tell us a little bit about this little number?
Well, this was a gift from a friend of mine, and this actually comes from the plains, kind of southern America would have these. They're heartwood flutes. I love them. One of my favorite artists, Carlos Nakai, I listen to his music all the time. And a friend of mine gave me this, and so I've been learning how to play it. And I don't play it a lot in public or anywhere because...
Yeah, but it's me.
It's a cording flute, and I'm married.
I know. Yeah. But it's still...
But my wife doesn't even come down to the studio when I play it.
Well, she would if you played it more often, I'm sure. I know your wife. She's pretty darn fabulous.
She is.
She really is.
She's a dynamite.
Even though it's a cording flute, why don't you just play a little?
I can play a little bit.
Just a little bit. I mean, I know you're learning.
Yeah.
But today's stories, all the stuff we're talking about today is about the hobbies and the things we do. So, like, a new hobby might be this for you. Not that you need another one, Mr. Painter, artist extraordinaire, but nonetheless.
Okay, I'll give it a try.
Please do. That worked for me.
Okay.
You had 3 notes there that were pretty sensational.
That was going good. But some of this, you have to adjust and make sure it's okay, and I didn't do that.
And I recognize it's COVID, so I'm not going to, even though we're not wearing our masks right now, we understand that, it's still going on.
Yeah.
We still need to be really careful about the things we do. So I won't do this, even though,
You'd like to.
I want to. I want to. So I'm going to make it kind of go like that, but I'll pretend, right? It's so that it's not.
It's got a beautiful kind of haunting sound. It does.
It has tone. How long does it take to learn how to play this kind of an instrument, do you think?
You know, I don't know. I think sometimes people go out and find their own songs and stuff, but I know some of these guys know hundreds of songs, and it's just you got to put the time in. This is actually in the key of G.
Ooh.
Of all things.
Oh.
So I can play along. If you had a guitar, you could play along with
You and I
key
played
of G.
guitar together before. I play one chord, you play everything else. It works beautifully.
So.
Sadly, our segment is just about done.
Oh,
Raven
my.
Tales, fabulous man.
Yes.
You know, and I think that our community needs to honor the fact that the winds of change is such a big deal. We need to pay attention to the people around us in community, don't we?
We do.
And you work so closely with Nanaimo First Nations and Stenamos. I hope I'm saying that right.
Nanaimo and Staminas.
And Staminas. Okay, I got a little bit like stuff.
Well, it used to be Shamanis.
Right.
And they were like, well, actually, the original name is Staminas. So then they changed it back. That's how we got it back.
Well, it's going to keep on playing the winds of change. I can feel them now. Seashells by the seashore. But some people make some really wonderful things out of those great crafts. Nikki Finley not only is a great writer, but she is also a terrific craftsperson when it comes to using nature as her muse. Enjoy.
Welcome back. It's good to see you. And boy, do we have something special here for you today. We're welcoming Nikki Finley. Good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
I'm seeing all these beautiful creations here, and I would love for you to share with me what's happening here. What's this all about?
Well, this is something that well, first of all, I'm part mermaid. I'm quite sure. So I love beachy stuff. I love Vancouver Island, and I have to make this stuff. It's fun. It all started, I guess, 2008, and I had made this ornament for the Nanaimo Arts Council Christmas table. And it was a glass ball with sand and seashells and whatnot inside. And they sold like hotcakes, which was a shock to me, right? But a friend of mine said, you should make them, some more of them and sell them. And so she and I just started, we went in my craft room, we just started making them, and it exploded into lots of things.
Ta-da!
Message in the bottle. Mermaid treasure bottle is what I call that. It's a gin bottle, by the way. And no, I didn't drink the gin.
Okay.
But I do a lot of recycling like that. So, so that's kind of cool. And lots of earrings, because I love earrings.
And the earrings, how long does it take for you to create these?
It just depends on how picky I'm being that day and how intricate they are, right? Or how many times I swear because I didn't get it right. So it really depends a lot. So maybe a half an hour around there.
Okay.
Yeah.
For each one?
Yeah, just depends. Just depends.
What inspires you? You have so many ideas here.
I don't know. I am a kind of person who has to do a lot of different things. I have to have variety in my life. And so this gives me an outlet for that, right? And yeah, I love making it.
I would love to know, I love the ideas of hobbying. I have no idea where to start.
Right.
So what would you suggest for those of us that just look at these beautiful creations and go,
Well, I was lucky because I had a friend that was creative. So because we could encourage each other and inspire each other, that made all the difference. So I would just suggest maybe finding a friend that is a real crafter and start doing it. And in the morning, just have some coffee with Bailey's and some good old 70s music and just start creating whatever comes to mind.
Well, where do you go for these creations?
Oh my gosh, everywhere, Alexis. These guys here, there's a Union Bay oyster farm. So I go through these dirty old smelly oyster shells and I bring them home and I bleach them, clean them, and make them into tea lights in the Scallop Farm out Qualicum Beach Way.
Yes.
And then again, I put a thing out on Facebook saying I was looking for bottles. And so a lady donated a bunch of gin bottles to me. And so yeah, just everywhere and anywhere. Yeah.
And how long does it take for you to do the bleaching?
Well, it's kind of a process because I'll have the big, my kitchen is a mess. I'll have seashells and driftwood and all this stuff all over the place. So it doesn't take too long. I just let things soak in soapy water and bleach, and then take them out and take a brush and get all the nooks and crannies, and because those little barnacles can be stinky. So got to really clean them well.
Well, I'm understanding, I'm looking at this, and I also know that you happen to be an author.
I am.
So you're a very multi-talented woman. Do you mind just sharing a little bit about your writing?
Well, I've been published. Now it'll be 3 times coming up in April with Chicken Soup for the Soul. Wow. So that's pretty cool. I just took a wonderful memoir class called Memoir Writing Inc., which just, oh my gosh, it opened up my writing. It was a game changer for me. Allison Waring was the teacher. And so that really inspired me to get writing my memoir. So that's what I'm working on now, if I can discipline myself to stick to it.
Well, to see you, it's very inspiring.
Thank you.
To see how you're creating, there's writing. For us to be able to find out a little bit more about you, where would we go? Well,
you can just go to mickeyfindley.com, nice and easy, M-I-C-K-I, Findlay.com.
Beautiful.
And everything's there.
Well, thank you very much. And boy, do we have something special coming up for you next.
Hey all, I hope you're enjoying the show so far. It's always so much fun to bring cool stuff to you. I hope that you're learning something today on Act 3. Next up, we have Theresa Osman. She's going to talk to us about something that's an unusual hobby, but a hobby nonetheless for many people, and it's all about gambling. Enjoy Theresa and the Wellness Minute.
For many, gaming and gambling are hobbies. When they become more than hobbies, VI Gaming Support can help. Did you know that March is Problem Gambling Awareness Month? And so today, Karen is here to give us some gambling guidelines. Welcome, Karen.
Thank you. Good to see you again, Theresa. Indeed, Canada established the lower risk gambling guidelines in order to help people with their gambling to just check to see if we're gambling within reason. So there are 3 guidelines to follow. Number 1 is never gamble more than 1% of your household income, and that's your gross income. And that will vary, of course, from lower income to higher income, but that's a guideline to keep in mind. The second guideline is about keeping it to 4 days a month. So whether that averages to once a week or it's a weekend away with your friends, trying to keep gambling to within 4 days per month. The third and final gambling guideline is to try and maintain only 2 forms of gambling, whether that's bingo and lotteries, whether that's poker and slots, just trying to keep things to 2 forms and no more.
These are really great guidelines to keep our gaming in check. Are there risk factors that make us more susceptible to having problems with gambling and gaming?
That's a really good point, Theresa. Indeed, if we're struggling with some mental health issues, with addiction issues or grief and loss, we're certainly more vulnerable than we would otherwise be. If we're attracted to fast-paced games, the quicker we gamble, the quicker it goes, the more problematic it can become. And if we're gambling for escapism reasons or we're looking to try and make some money, that can certainly increase our risk of developing an issue. So if you find yourself in trouble, folks, VI Gaming Support is here to help people, confidential, free, and we're here for you at all times.
That's great, Karen. Thanks so much for this very valuable information.
You're welcome, Theresa.
Coming up next, I interview on my radio program Gypsy Heart. She has something fabulous happening for May the 7th. You're going to want to attend. You just know you will. So please stay tuned.
I'm a holistic practitioner here on Vancouver Island. I not only offer some amazing different treatments for clients, from like raindrop therapy to hot stone massage. I do deep tissue massage, relaxation massage, different kinds of therapies. And so, definitely visit my website because that will give you the whole gist of all the different things. I have a lot of different modalities because I love learning new things. And next thing you know, you look back and go, oh, I've been doing that for like 15 years. That's awesome. So then I'm like, what else can I learn? And so I really love adding all these new modalities to my repertoire of services that I love to offer my clients. And I also offer spiritual services as well. So I'm a holistic practitioner, but also a mystic. So I do offer palm tarot, tea leaf readings. I've been doing that for 35 plus years. Which I really enjoy. It's just another way of using tools to help pave the path for people who are maybe feeling a little lost on their path and they want to kind of rediscover who they are or maybe reinvent themselves. And so I love to, follow through with that with people that really enjoy having spiritual readings, psychic readings. I'm a medium, so I have a different kind of modalities on that too. I use different kinds of tools, and it's wonderful to see people really open up and realize that they do have a path and they aren't stuck, and that we can actually shift things in a particular reading, for example. So yeah, I really love it. And I'm a yoga teacher as well. So another passion. I've been teaching for probably over 15 years here on the island, and from kids yoga to men's yoga to, I teach elderly as well. So it's like a whole variety of different levels of yoga. And I really enjoy work from not only home, but as well City of Nanaimo. So I offer some parks and recreation, classes that you might be interested in as well. So come and try it.
But you did bring up something that I think is really a wonderful share in regards to the COVID piece, because as much as now things have been lifted and restrictions are moving around, I'm curious about how that went for you from a healing capacity. How were you engaging with people? Were you engaging with people? How did you manage that whole COVID crazy?
Well, as a psychic, that was a big part of being pulled into another realm of all of a sudden, this is a worldwide event.
Yeah.
And a lot of the forums that I was always part of as a spiritual worker, as a light worker, we would always channel in and we would have healing discussions, and also light workers would come together. And for years, there was only maybe a couple of thousand that would, come together, and we would send our healing energy basically long distance. So maybe it was a certain country or place or person or whatever it is that we would come together and we would send that healing, and collectively we shifted things. And so I remember when COVID hit, it was like, okay, everyone's in lockdown and everything else. So I got online, and of course I'm part of these forums, and then I'm looking at the numbers and I'm thinking, there is now millions of us online doing these spiritual movements worldwide. So the numbers were just insane, like to a point where energy wise, it was like so overwhelming. And knowing that there was such great need for us as light workers to help people through this transition, because it's huge, right? It's huge. And some people thrived, and some people did not do so well with the whole experience. And remember that this is just an experience. And Absolutely. We are now seeing a lot of clarity, and things are starting to open up, and which is exciting at the same time. But then there's still upheaval in so many different parts of the world, as you know. And so a lot of us light workers are still coming together. It's like the work is never done. It's now higher and more in need than it ever used to be, because people were just kind of going about their own business. They were, doing whatever in their life, but not realizing that, there's so much more going on in the world now. Everyone's tuned in, huge.
Yeah. Are light workers coming together more regularly with Ukraine in specific? And what does that look like? Just if you don't mind sharing a little bit of your experience with that would be grand.
We're definitely channeling a lot that is going towards there. And of course, on a I don't know, universal kind of conscious level, we are shifting things, things will change. And it's just a matter of, you know, how are we doing this, right? How are we integrating in? Everybody can do also a part. Just, you know, collectively, the more we think about, you know, the healing and the energy that we need to channel over there. And it's just worldwide everywhere, because everyone is, there's a lot of like so much bliss, but then there's also so much pain. You remember that, you know, it's a yin and yang, right? You can't have the bliss without the struggle. So we are seeing that, and more so, it's more in our face than it ever has been. And people are starting to understand it and starting to, I guess, really sense it more on a higher vibrational level, because now it's so intense, right? People can't ignore it. They might try to, but then that just kind of it backfires on them, and then they realize that, okay, I guess I have to like kind of go with the flow. And it's about education, right? It's how we educate ourselves. And I'm about to run and host the 3rd annual Nanaimo Wellness and Spirit Fair, which is coming on, you know, May 7th. It's a Saturday, May 7th, between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. And the community is, you know, invited. Nanaimo, Vancouver Island, everyone is welcome to come and join in, and not only become like exhibitors. Pardon me?
I'm so sorry, love. Where are you hosting it? Where will this?
So it's going to be at the Cavalotti Lodge, and that's just off of Wellington, East Wellington, just in Nanaimo. And so it'll be open to the public from 10 a.m. to 5. Please come in and support all these beautiful local small businesses. They range from holistic practitioners who are there to offer all their wonderful services, as well as there'll be like crystals, and there's all sorts of different vendors that are setting up on spiritual levels as well. And also lots of psychics will be coming as well to offer their services, and allowing you to ask as many questions as you want and just be there and be part of it, right?
Is there an admission to get in?
No, it's a free event to the public. So that's the best part, is just come park and come and enjoy, you know, the event. Amazing causes out there too that we as a community need to also focus on. The Nanaimo Wellness and Spirit Fair is also hosting the Nanaimo Loaves and Fishes. Donations can be made through that. There's a website that's also attached for any donations that, you know, you'd like to put towards that. Nanaimo Loaves and Fishes will be at the fair as well on May 7th, and they will have a booth set up so that they will take in also any donations that you might have for our community to feed, you know, the hungry here, just on in our city. So it's really important to kind of have a focus on that as well.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Thank you for the share, because it is really important. And we do know for sure that this time has caused a lot of burden on many, many families. The Loaves and Fishes has been offering food bank services probably more than they have in many, many years. And resources do run slim. Even though we have so many generous and kind people, let's not forget them all the time. It's not just a Christmas thing. It's on all year round. Well, thanks again for tuning in to Act 3. Super glad you came. I know that's the 3rd time today I've said super glad, and it's because I'm super glad, and we all are. Everyone on the team of Act 3 is thrilled to be able to produce this for you, and we hope that you enjoy the show. So make sure you tune in next time on Act 3.